to text a girl like a pro. Now, this is a very common question that pops up once guys have done a bit of cold approach. They start getting some numbers, they start texting girls, and they get a little bit lost. And there's a lot of issues with texting girls that a lot of guys have that are even intermediates. And I'm going to give you guys my philosophy on it in as simplistic way as possible. I'm going to go from the cold approach through to the texting, what you should be saying, what you should be, information you should be getting, and how that affects your text game. No one else in the industry is teaching this because there's not a lot of guys out there that are any good at cold approach and haven't got the experience I do. And a lot of guys that were doing cold approach with me have either got too old or have stopped. This is like a PhD lesson from a professor in text game. So let me get into it. But before we get into it, I'm Dave, and this channel is dedicated to giving you no BS, novel dating advice for the modern man. Top link in the description to get some cold approach coaching with myself. I don't necessarily teach online dating. It is mainly cold approaching girls that you don't know in any scenario in life, and trying to get a girlfriend or line up a date through those cold approaches. Now, to start with, how to text a girl like a pro. To start with, a lot of guys, they'll get a number and they'll start texting a girl. They'll get halfway through this conversation through text, and then they'll ask me, what do I do here? What canned line can I put in to this and solve this dead end that I've got myself down, this problem that I've got myself into? And there are a lot of videos out there from guys that will give you a lot of terrible advice on how to get out of these dead ends. But prevention is better than the cure, and in my opinion, I think you should be avoiding getting into those dead ends in the first place at all. And the best way to do that is by doing this. Off the cold approach, what you need to do is get logistics. I call it logistics. It's not exactly logistics. People are starting to copy this. I'm starting to hear logistics everywhere. A lot of other coaches will start to steal this from me eventually, but they won't understand the in-depth understanding of what this is, and that's perfectly fine. You can only really get that from me doing live coaching. But the basics of it is you need to get three things off the cold approach. Okay? You need to get one. Where is she working? Where is she working? Not what is she doing for work. Not what country is she from. Is she from Russia? What country are you from? Oh, I speak a bit of Russian. No, we don't care about that information. Where? As in the location. Usually she will straight after say, oh, I work in this location, and then she'll give you an industry. Once you've got an industry, then you can figure out what her schedule is, because there's different types of industries. I teach this to my students. This is very important too. Where does she live? Usually when someone finishes work, they go home. Now, if she finishes work and she lives near you, when she comes home from work, you can date her. Or you might have to date her straight after work. So this helps you with lining up a date, right? These two things. The third one is what is she doing right now? Because you never know, she might be free right this second, and you can go for an instant date. But these three, including the industry, which she will naturally give you once you find out those things, will solve all of your texting problems. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that means that you need to come and do some coaching with me, live coaching, and you'll understand in greater depth what that means. Now, this goes into phase 2 of how to text like a pro. I'm assuming that you understand how to talk, understanding that you have a grasp of the language that you are texting the girl in. I assume that you are of obviously I'm trying to communicate with men that can afford coaching. If you don't have the IQ or the social awareness or the skill to put together a few words in a text message, you can't afford coaching with me. So therefore, I can't help you anyway. But I'm assuming that you have a grasp of the English language or whatever language you're texting in. I assume that you're smart enough to put together a general conversation without making it too logical. I'm making a lot of assumptions about you. And this is why I'm teaching advanced stuff. Let's just assume that you can do that and you've got the logistics down pat. You know this information. Information will give you all of the ability to line up because you know her schedule. You'll be able to read between the lines and figure out exactly where she's going to be at any time, and that will help you to line up a date. The next part of this is you've got her number. What is the purpose of having her number in the first place? Well, you have to have a game plan. You're not a leaf in the wind and she's the wind blowing you around. You're the man that's supposed to be taking charge and leading. You're supposed to be pushing the interactions forward. Now, let's just say off the cold approach, you've got the logistics, which is not exactly logistics, but it kind of is, so that you can get her schedule. I'm also making the assumption that you can hold a conversation and you can read and write. Now we make sure that you are fully aware that the only reason why you have her contact information, whether it is her number, whether it is an app, whether it is some form of social media and you've DM'd her, you understand fully that you are not there to make cheeky jokes. You're not there to try to figure out how to build rapport through text, because that is not something that women really react to. I've never had a situation where a student has had pages and pages and pages, like an entire novel of text to and from a girl, and that has helped him to get laid. It has not. You have to stay on your goal. The goal is purely to line up a date. There's no other real goal. It is to line up a date and avoid messing it up. Don't mess it up. Don't mess it up. Make sure that you've got her logistics and her schedule down pat, so that you're not texting her all the time and going, "Are you free tomorrow?" She's like, "Oh, no, I'm working." Oh. Girls never, ever reply with, "Oh, but here's my schedule for the week." It puts you on the back foot. You don't really want to be on the back foot. But this is the simplistic way. Make sure you get logistics and her schedule, and you're able to map out what generally what her schedule is, so that when you go for the date, you have a higher probability of landing a time when she is free and it is convenient for her. We can go into depths on how, when, why, and what makes it convenient for her in other videos, and I probably will. But this is how to text like a pro. How to text a girl like a pro. You really do need to understand these things, and learning can lines just doesn't work. So if you want to learn this in far more depth, that means when you come out with me, we do a full-on immersion and we work hard. And I just drill this into you. I drill this in depth so you never forget it. But I also drill things that I would never say on YouTube to my students, because, well, that's why would I give that away for free? There's no use coaching you if I give you away all the juicy stuff or the real valuable nuggets of gold. Sign up, go to the website, sign up to do some cold approach coaching with me, and stop wasting your time, because this will revolutionize your dating life. I'll see you guys in the next video.